It's finally here, and after waiting a hot minute, the heavily anticipated Splatoon DLC has arrived, and it has been interesting to say the least. Before we get into my thoughts and some of the community's reactions, I will say this will be a mostly spoiler-free experience, and all the footage I use here will be from the tutorial and the first few floors, so no bosses or story beats will be spoiled. So, after all this time, was it worth the hype? Well, I think so. This is by far the biggest shakeup we've seen in the Splatoon single-player formula. Kind of. On paper, it's still following the same kind of gameplay loop established back in Octo Expansion, with you selecting a level, completing an objective, and moving on to the next level to do the same. But that's really where the similarities end for the most part. You see, this DLC tips its ink-covered hat into an entirely different game genre, roguelites. For those who may not know, a roguelite is a genre of games where the player is typically set within some sort of procedurally generated level, where they're then tasked to beef themselves up with whatever they have access to in order to then progress towards the game's main objective. And when you inevitably die, the player usually gets something out of it to help them in their next attempt. That is to say, these games are designed to be hard. They aren't made to be beaten in a single sitting, but instead push the player till they fail, where they can then try again till they finally succeed. Whether that's to beat the boss at the end of the level or blast away all their foes, they all have something in common, that being that they tend to be an endurance test. And Side Order is no different. Side Order's gameplay loop boils down to picking a level set between several difficulties, and upon beating a level, moving up a floor towards the top of the tower, alongside receiving a color chip. Color chips are sorted into different categories via their color and have varying effects to assist the player, from upgrading their weapon's strength or speed to giving Pearl's drone the ability to drop bombs and so forth. It's essentially the loot you get to beef yourself up between floors to assist in the next one. As for when you die, upon death you gain a certain amount of pearls per chip, which can then be spent to gain permanent upgrades for your next run, making each run just slightly different than the last. Pearls per chips. Why does that sound like some sort of measurement, like miles per hour? There is more to it than that, like vending machines, which let you buy different kits and upgrades. Then there's unlocking different palettes, which allow you to then use different weapons with their own unique kits and attributes. But I think you get the point. Also, if you're watching this, you've probably played it, and why am I bothering to explain this? You probably, whatever. It's a simple gameplay loop, but it has its own twist to keep it very distinct from other roguelites. Like, it being Splatoon, an already unique third-person shooter. This seems like an undeniable success story, and I'm happy to say, I think it is. But even then, every success has its ugly little secrets just trying to sweep under the rug. In this case, squids, I guess. This gameplay loop is so fun. I love roguelikes, so this is very much up my alley. It's fun to figure out what chips you want for the best build, and it's fun tackling different challenges and climbing the floors. However, and this is by far the biggest complaint I've seen from the community, it can get a little stale. Before you dislike the video, this isn't entirely my opinion. I'll tell you what I think in just a sec. You see, other roguelikes are usually filled to the brim with content and have randomly generated levels, keeping the gameplay loop fresh feeling for quite a while. But Side Order doesn't really have that. It has a set number of stage layouts and a limited number of objectives. Of course, that's not inherently bad, but it does mean the average player will encounter repeating levels more often on consecutive runs, and that can lead to the feeling that maybe there's not enough content here. That mixed with the middling amount of enemy variety, seriously there's like maybe 7 unique enemies not including bosses, which sounds like plenty, but after 4 runs of fighting the same foes on basically the same floors, I get where this critique is coming from. It's fair and more than valid. In fact, I agree in some cases. Mostly that more enemy types would have been nice. But goddamn, I love this DLC. Yes, some of this is hype bias, but beyond that, I've been enjoying the hell out of this game. It's short compared to other DLCs, but for me, that's not much of a downside, as it's not trying to be like Octo Expansion. It's doing its own thing, and while it may be struggling in some aspects, this is proof that Splatoon has so much potential for other genres and spin-offs, and that alone makes this amazing. Who knows, maybe if this does well, we could get a Splatoon RPG or adventure game. I mean, realistically, there's like a 0.1% of that happening. This DLC is still in Splatoon 3 after all, but you know, it's still not 0, just really close to 0. And even then, without that, there's just a lot to love outside of the gameplay. There's so many fun dialogue interactions, especially between Pearl and Marina. Like, damn, these bitches gay? Good for them. Alongside things to collect and unlock for your locker or future runs, and also little things like that palette being some sort of soundboard-esque design, and my favorite useless yet lovely detail, the little random things in the scenario reacting to the beat of the music. That was not needed at all, and I love it. Side Order was worth it. Sure, it has flaws and more than what I addressed here, like people thinking it's either too difficult or too easy, though that's more player dependent than anything. Pros will probably think it's easy and casuals will probably think it's in the middle of the road. But remember, if you want it to be harder, just use a crappy weapon and choose only the hardest levels. Make it hard for yourself. That's the fun of these types of games and why I love them so much. Regardless, even with its flaws, I love all this DLC has to offer, and honestly, I didn't want to stop playing to make this video. It's kind of addicting. Or I just have an addictive personality. So yeah, I love it. It's not perfect, but it is damn enjoyable. I'd love to hear what others think in the comments below, and while you're down there, you might as well do the YouTube thing and like and subscribe as well. If you want, that is. Either way, that's all for this video. However, as a bonus, here's a little clip dump of my first few runs. Lighter spoilers, but nothing past the tutorial. Look at Small Fry. People keep giving shit to these, like, top cuts, but I love them so much. I like all the Octoling. Octoling has some of the best haircuts in the game. Almost every single one of these is... Honestly, I like them all. But I like repping the haircuts people don't use often. Because I'm cool and quirky. Oh yeah, another thing. My motion controls don't work, so this is gonna be an extra hard challenge for us. Here, let's see if you can hear this. I dropped my controller, and it's an off-brand pro controller, so it's not like a real pro controller. And it just... it broke. I'm indecisive. I don't like how it jiggles, though. Look at that. Ugh. Oh, whoops. Oh, it's... I'm rusty, baby! Oh my god! Whoa! Whoa, baby! I did not expect him to... He freaking headbutt me! What a jerk! I'm always wishing a bomb would show up to blow away anyone harassing me, dude. I love you, Pearl! Pearl is so funny, dude. She's great. I love her. Wait, what? Hey, can you leave my balls alone? Thank you very much. Yo, that sounds bad. Yes, Pearl. It does sound bad. Yeah, I know. They don't sell snacks, and that is kind of a pain in the ass. I want myself some goldfish. I feel like goldfish would still exist in the Splatoon universe. There you are. Gotcha. I like the little hover thing. They could totally make Splatoon Fortnite. So this might be where the run ends right here. There's another sniper. Oh, he respawns. Jesus. I have to itch my nose! No! First run, floor 16, game over. Oh my god, these 8-ball levels are so much easier than Octo Expansion ones, dude. They're basically freebies in this, where in Octo Expansion you get anxiety as soon as you see the word ball in any of the level names. I appreciate the try, Pearl. It's just an entire room dedicated to a tiny little vending machine. I love that. Hey, odds are good that we're coming up to a boss. We need to be smart at the core and be careful on top. Marina, you worry too much. It's gonna be just fine. The two of us got this. Right, of course. I can't help it. Pearl's just too precious. She's fearless at the core and adorable on top. Girl! You're gay. Oh, I love it. What's this one?